Hello everyone, what's up? So today we are going to solve this medium level question on LeetCode called find peak element, one of the top questions asked by Google in their coding interview rounds. So let me run through the question and then we'll write the code as well. Also, if you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do share it with your friends who are preparing for coding interviews. It will really support the reach of this channel. And if you want to see me solving more of such questions, I have maintained a playlist for all the coding interview questions. You can check it out here. And yeah, let's move on to the explanation of the question as well as the coding part. Okay, so this question says that a peak element is an element that is strictly greater than its neighbors. So given an integer array, we need to find a peak element and return its index. If the array contains multiple such peak elements, we can return the index to any of those peaks. And they have also asked us to consider that everything towards the left of the first element and towards the right of the last element can be considered as minus infinity. So all elements inside my array are somewhat a peak itself. This means that a peak element will definitely lie inside our array somewhere or the other. So the test cases are pretty simple. For example, in this particular array, we have the number 3, which is greater than 2 and 1 as the peak. So we can return its index as 2. Then also in this array, we have the number 2, which is greater than its neighbors, as well as 6, which is greater than 5 and 4. So we can return the indices of any of these. For example, we can return either 1 as the index or 5 as the index. Both are considered as appropriate answers. And as a follow-up, they have asked us to do this with logarithmic complexity, which might give you a hint of binary search. So I'm going to discuss the brute force as well as this optimized solution as well. So let's quickly move on to the visualization and explanation part. All right, so let's quickly get over the explanation part now. So we have this array called nums, and these are the elements that are given to us. And in this, we want to return the index of any peak element. So peak element is one which is larger than both its adjacent elements. For example, here we have 2, which is larger than this one and this one. So we can return this index 1. Or also we have this element 6, which is larger than this 5 and this 4. So we can return this index 5 as well. And both of these are valid answers. So let's talk about the brute force approach first. What we can do is simply iterate over all the elements starting from the first one, sort of like a linear search kind of a thing. And linear search, as you know, takes big O of n time. So what we do is for every element, we simply check if it is larger than both its adjacent elements. For example, for element at an index x, we need to check if this is larger than the element at index x minus 1 and at x plus 1. And since they have also mentioned that the first element and the last element can also be valid peak elements, so for these two, we only need to check the right one and the left one, because there's nothing towards the left of first and towards the right of the last. So we won't have to check them. For example, for the first one, we'll only check this one, and for the last one, we'll only check this one. So we start from the first element, we check if it's larger than this element, which it's not. So we move on to the next element. So we come to 2, and we check if it's larger than this element and this element, which it is. So once we find this, we can simply return the index of this element, which is 1, and we can break our loop, and we found our answer. So for linear search, we don't really have to iterate over all the elements. We can just break our loop whenever we find our answer. But had it been something like 0 here, then we would have iterated for all the elements until we found this 6, which is larger than 5 and 4, and then we would have returned 5 index as the answer. So of course, in the worst case, we need to iterate over all the elements. That's where the linear time comes from. And to talk about the space, so here we are not using any extra container or any extra variable, so the space is going to be constant in this case. So this was the brute force naive approach. But they've mentioned in the question that we need to think of something along the lines of a logarithmic approach. And we know that the logarithmic factor only comes from something like a binary search or ternary search. So let's try to think over that as the more optimized approach. All right, so let's look at the optimized approach now. So for this one, since we are going along the lines of binary search, but for binary search, we know that the array needs to be sorted, right? Binary search only works on sorted arrays. And here, if we consider the entire array, so this thing entirely is not sorted. But if you look at closely and you consider only the peak elements, that is this element and this element, which are our potential answers. So everything from one peak element to the other, for example, this much part is in a sorted form. In the similar fashion, this part is also sorted and this part is also sorted. So once we have this sub-array or sub-segment which is sorted, we can think of some logic to apply binary search and to go towards either the left half or right half depending on some condition. That is, we are again breaking the array into 2. So let's try to think of how we approach this question and what is the intuition behind applying binary search for this sorted sub-arrays. So to have a logarithmic complexity and to start applying binary search, we'll again start with 2 pointers called low and high. So my low pointer in the beginning will point to my first index, which is 0, and high to my last index, which is 6. And after that, we'll again find the mid pointer. This is the similar pattern of normal binary search. Mid will be given by low plus high over 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. And so the index of mid currently is this one. This is where my mid pointer points at. Now, at every new iteration of mid, I will check my current value at mid index. So my value at mid is 3. So the first thing we do is we try to find if this mid value is our potential peak element or not. And for mid to be a peak element, it needs to be greater than its immediate left and immediate right elements. So we'll first check if this is the first element or not. So it's not the first one. So there's something towards its left. And now we check if whatever towards its left is, it is greater than that or not. And 3 is greater than 1. So this condition is fine. Similarly, we check for the right. So is 3 greater than 5 as well? No, it's not. So this mid cannot be my peak element. But now that I have this information about mid, I need to find a way to move either to this half or to this half. So let's try to find the logic for that. So if I were to plot these elements first, so this is something like 1, 2, and then 1, then 3, 5, 6, and then 4. So this is how the plot for these elements is. And you can clearly see that we have a peak over here and over here. These are the two peak elements that we have. And I'm currently at value number 3, which is somewhere over here. So what we can understand from this is, if there is something higher towards my right, then if a peak element exists in this array, then potentially it will lie towards that right half only. Or if there's something higher than me towards my left, then the peak element might lie towards my left only. Because if the elements are increasing towards my left, then for example, if I'm currently here and elements towards my left are increasing, so there must be a peak somewhere over here. And similarly for right, if the elements are increasing, then the peak can be somewhere over here if the peak exists. And since they have also mentioned in the question that the peak element will always exist, so our boundary extreme elements can also be considered as peak elements. For example, if the array starts from this point, then this element will also be considered as a peak. So if I'm at this point, I can simply go towards the side where my elements are increasing to find the potential peak element. For example, here in our case, elements towards the right of 3 are increasing and towards the left of 3 are decreasing. So I'll simply first check the left element. If it's greater than me, I'll move towards the left half because a peak element might lie somewhere in my left half. And if it's not greater than me, then I'll check for the right element, which has to be greater or equal to me. So my peak element will lie in somewhere in my right half. So I can move my search space to the right half of the array. So basically I first check for this element 1. Is it greater than 3? No, it's not. So then I check for this element 5. Is it greater than 3? Yes, it is. So elements towards the right of 3 are increasing. So I know that my peak element might be lying somewhere in this sub-array. So I simply move my search space to this part. And for that, I can simply move my low pointer to point to mid plus 1. So I'll change my low to mid plus 1, which is 3 plus 1, which is 4. So my low pointer comes at this index and high is still at 6 only. So now I'll find my mid again, which is low plus high over 2. So that is going to be 5. So this is where my new mid element, mid index is. And now I'll check for my mid again. So now we have 6 as the new element at the mid index. And we will check if there's something towards the left of 6. Yes, it is. So is my 6 greater than the element towards its left? Yes, it is. And then we also check similarly for the right. Is there something left towards the right? Yes. And is 6 greater than that? So yes, 6 is greater than 4. And since both the conditions are satisfied, I know that the element at this index is the valid peak element. So I can simply return this value as my peak index. So this is the index that I'll return. And also if we applied the opposite logic, like if we moved to the left half of 3 first instead of the right one, so we would have also found a peak element at this index. So we could have returned 1 as the result as well. And LeetCode is accepting both these answers as the correct option. And this is how our approach works for binary search. And again, if I talk about the complexities for this one, so for the time complexity, what we are doing is a simple modified version of binary search. And we know the complexity for binary search is already logarithmic. It's log to the base 2 because we are dividing our array into equal halves at every iteration. And to talk about the space, again, we are not using any auxiliary containers. So the space for this one will be constant. And this space and time is the best optimized approach that you can have for this particular question. So this was about the explanation. I hope you understood it. And let's move on to the coding part where I hope I can explain this even better. Okay, so let's quickly move on to writing the code for this one. So we have this function which accepts an array nums, and we want to return an integer as the index of the element, which is the peak element. So in cases where we have two possible peak elements, we can return either of these indices as the correct result. So as we discussed, we are going to go ahead with binary search, and the first thing we need for binary search is the number of elements. So we have it as nums.size, and then I will need my low and high pointers. So my low pointer points to 0 and high pointer points to the last index, that is nums.size minus 1. Now once we're done with that, we'll start our loop. So we will iterate as long as my low pointer is less than my high pointer. So as long as there are elements left for us to search. For every iteration, the first thing we'll do is we'll have our mid element as low plus high minus low over 2. So if you're not aware why we do this high minus low, this is only to avoid any integer overflows. For example, low plus high might become a very huge value which might not be possible to store in an integer data type. That is why to avoid that we use high minus low. Now once we have the mid index, we'll check the element at this mid index. So the first thing we'll do is if my mid is the first element itself, then I know that there's nothing towards my left, so I don't have to check anything towards my left. Or if this is not the first element, which means there is something towards my left, so I will check for that if nums of mid minus 1, whatever is there to my immediate left, if that is smaller than nums of mid. So if my element is greater than the element towards my left, so this one is actually the first condition, and then we will also have the second condition as for the right hand side. So if my mid is the last element, which is n minus 1, so I have nothing towards my right to check. Or if this is not the last element and there still are elements towards my right, so I will check for those. So if nums of mid plus 1, if the element towards my immediate right is smaller than nums of mid, the current element. So basically we are checking if my current mid element is greater than my immediate left and my immediate right, if they exist. Then I know that this is a peak element which has been found. Then I can simply return this index because we know that a peak element has been found, peak element found. And then if this is not the case, then we need to find some logic to go towards my left half or right half. So we can check for those cases like if my mid is not the first elements, so it's somewhere in the middle of the array. and there's something towards my left. So I can check if whatever is there at my left hand side, if that element is greater than my current element, nums of mid. So this means a peak element might lie in left half, right? So I can simply move to the left half by making high to point to mid minus 1. And the only other case left is if my mid element is less than the last element. So I know that I have something towards my right, and then also nums of mid plus 1, whatever is there to my right, is greater than my current element, nums of mid. So this means my peak element might be lying somewhere in my right half, might lie in right half. So in this case, I can simply move to the right half by making low to point to mid plus 1. And I think this should be enough, because they have mentioned that a peak element will always exist. So we will probably find it in one of these three condition checks somewhere inside the array. So going out of this loop, since we need to return something from this function, we can simply return something as -1. But realize that control will never reach this point. So our control never reaches this point, because either one of these three conditions will always give me a correct peak element, which I will return from here. So I think this should be it. Let's run this code to check. So it's working for my sample test cases. Let me submit this. And yeah, this is being accepted and with a really good runtime as well as space. So this is the most optimized solution for this particular question. So if you're liking these videos and if you appreciate these efforts, then please do consider subscribing to my channel and share it with your friends who are trying to prepare for interviews in top tech companies. Also, I've maintained a playlist for all the coding interview questions that I've solved on my channel. So you can check it out here somewhere, it must be showing. And comment down below for any questions, any advices. Like the video if you liked it. Thank you so much for watching. See you very soon in the next video.